What's going on, YouTube family? So I know this may come as a shock to some of you, but the Christian rap scene has been exploding lately. And Caleb Gordon, an artist who's kind of leading that charge, just appeared in a podcast and he revealed why he chose Christian rap because he actually wasn't a Christian beforehand, and then found the Lord, and explained why he chose to make Christian rap and basically the future of the scene and how he's helping build that out and why there's such a cultural explosion in the Christian rap community. So I'm going to be reacting to that clip. But before we jump into it, if you like content like this, please go ahead and hit like so that the algorithm pushes it out. And if you're not currently subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit subscribe. All right, let's jump into it.
Yo, special guest in the building. Caleb Gordon in the building, my guy.
Yes, sir. Man, nice to meet you, bro. Man, to be with.
Second Christian rapper that we've had. Would you define yourself as a Christian rapper?
Yes,
fully, entirely.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I feel like some Christian rappers who I've known, like they kind of like borderline on like, they're like, yeah, like they're like, I'm a Christian rapper, but I'm not married to that.
Facts.
But you're like, this is what
Yeah, man, because I'm presenting a different way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not getting the Christian rapper while I'm preaching down your throat. Like, bro, I'm trying to give you something where if you want to tap in, you can. You don't have to.
Right.
Yeah.
You see the other Christian freestyle that we have?
Right, that's my boy.
That's your boy?
That's literally my.
I didn't know that's how I was friends like that.
We was in LA. We did a show like that in November together.
For real?
Yeah, in Miles Minnick. We was out there doing Miles Minnick's event.
It's like the Christian rapper community is like all y'all know each other?
Yeah. It's small. MCM right there. You know what I'm saying? We all tapped in for real.
For real, that's fire. I like that.
Yeah, like so, because we all coming up together and we're making a new wave.
Right.
Like it's not gonna be the way it was. You know what I'm saying? Now it's gonna be, hey, we're putting this on the map and people are actually gonna know what's going on. You feel me?
Yeah. Who is the
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. You know, the Christian rap scene is exploding. The culture is starting to get, I mean, it's just churning right now. So we're going to see a huge explosion of it. And the world is starting to notice that, you know, Christian rap is being produced well. You know, there's, you know, the lyrics are there's so much more to talk about, you know, with the lyrics rather than just the same things over and over again, like the secular world. So we're seeing a lot of secular hip hop fans move over to listening to Christian music now.
like Lecrae, right? Lecrae was
Yeah, Lecrae is like the Christian rapper.
Like,
Yeah,
he's like kind of like the one that's going like the most
yeah, for sure.
mainstream. Right?
The most mainstream one.
Do you have like any relationships with him too?
I be over there. I've been in his place. But he set the foundation of everything.
Yeah.
He tapped in with me early. His camp, Hovey and all them. They tapped in with me early, but they're the foundation. I wouldn't be Christian rapping if he didn't do what he did.
Right.
So I always give him his respects.
Were you, when he put out like that project that went crazy, were you like rapping at that time for real? Like, were you working during that time?
You talking about like when the anomaly stuff that was going on? Man, I wasn't even Christian, bro. Like I was, I was listening to nothing Christian. I was listening to Drake, Lil Baby. I mean, like I was there. You know what I'm saying? No, I wasn't tapped in, but they telling me everything that happened. I'm learning everything.
Wow. So it was like kind of, so when did like when did like the Christian aspect of like and the music, when did that kind of like come together for you? Like what was kind of like the like that moment, that spark where you're like, oh, this is what I'm gonna become now, and this is what I'm gonna create, and this is like the intention behind it too.
Yeah, for sure. So I was making music before, like I said, I was making music however I wanted to.
Right.
And it wasn't until I used to be with my engineer, we used to smoke, we used to be doing whatever we doing. He was the plug. So we was there and we would make music.
Yeah.
And the only thing that shifted me is when I was making music, man, the music wasn't helping me with my life. So I was talking about whatever, but I would go into my life. I'd be on the phone arguing with my mom. I'd be like trying to figure out my actual life because I'm like 18 years old at the time, trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with my life. And at that moment, I was like, nah, I'm gonna make music that uplifts me. I'm gonna make music that motivates me, that gives me a vision, that gives me a purpose. So that's why I switched my music, because I was like, if it don't push me into a mindset of keeping my mind focused on the one who got me here, you know what I'm saying, which is God, I don't even want to make it, you know?
Right. So were you raised Christian too or no?
I was raised Christian. My dad's a pastor. My mom, she does a lot of work, missionary work and all that types of stuff. Like
that. So what was like that but what was like the switch? Like what was like the switch that changed everything? Because you're talking about like being with your engineer, him being the plug, y'all smoking, doing whatever, but like what was like, did you have like a moment?
A moment for sure.
Like what was the moment that everything changed for you?
Man, okay, so there's one moment, right? Came home, I told my mom, I was like, look, I ain't finna smoke no more. Cause I was like, let me just get away from it. I was just like, I ain't finna smoke no more. And I came home, my mom was like, how you gonna do it? I was like, I don't know. And so I went back to bruh house that night, smoked again. I said I wasn't going. Went there again.
Yeah.
But that last time, man, I went to go record, and all I kept saying was Jesus in the mic. Literally. It's so weird. It's like I'm not the type of person that be like, oh, these encounters that be happening, but man, I was just saying Jesus in the mic because I think that my heart was just so that at that moment that that's all I could think about, you know?
Yeah, God clearly had a hit out on him, or for him. So, they say that God chases his children, and yeah, I mean, all the prayers that were behind him, I'm sure, from his mom and his dad and his family, and growing up Christian like that, God clearly knew that he had a gift to share for the kingdom. So, I love when God chases after us like that. That's awesome.
But then after that, it was just like, all right, this out.
Oh man, I was full throttle, bro. I was gone.
That's
what I'm saying?
fire. I ain't gonna lie. I definitely had like that moment when we were like talking about Christian rap, like just like as a group, and I was like, I definitely I'm the type of person who's willing to admit when I'm wrong, right?
So
Because I was, we were talking like, man, how much could they rap about like the Bible and for real, for real? But then someone's like, well, I mean, people just continue to rap about drugs and person. I'm like, you know what? You're right. I understand. I did. I'm gonna be more like I was never like not open to it, but I'm like I'm gonna open my ears a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that could definitely be how I felt before. Is I feel like that's the way that a lot of people will feel about this style of rap and this style of music. It's like, oh well, how much could they talk about Jesus? How much could they talk about the Bible? How much could? But there is other ways to get the message across, and I just think feel like it's like how people could rap about guns, lean, this, whatever, and they could rap about it a million times in a million different ways. You could same thing applies.
almost like what's your favorite superhero?
Iron Man.
So your favorite superhero, Iron Man. So you know Iron Man better than anybody else.
Right.
So how long could you talk about Iron Man?
Probably for a long time.
Long time. So it's like that's how we feel. Like we really in there. Like we're not just outside. Like we're really in there.
Yeah.
And we're like, yo, there's so much stories that people not even talking about. Same with Iron Man. It's like, bro, there's so much stuff people are not talking about
Right.
that you're like, you just nerding out off. You like, bro, this happened. You didn't even know why this happened because this happened. That's how we feel about the Bible. It's like, bro, you don't even know. It's so much stories in here, but it's the way you present it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Did you get to see the Book of Clarence?
No, we about to see that. So
You seen it today?
no, we haven't planned it yet, but we gonna see that
I
junk.
wish you saw it.
You seen that junk?
saw it the other
Ah, we could have talked about that junk.
Yeah,
How was it?
It was good. I'm just like a little confused. But that's why I was hoping you had seen it because maybe you could have like clarified certain things in the movie. And I'm not gonna ruin the movie for you, ruin the movies for people. But I just like when we're talking about the Bible right now and like kind of what happens in the movie, I'm like, I'm not really sure what was going on here. I really liked the movie, but the way that they did certain things, I was like, is this like supposed to be like satire? Is this supposed to be like this? Like it was just some questions. I
Yeah.
had.
So the Christian community doesn't like it at all. But yeah, let me get the questions too. The Christian
Oh, okay. I
community,
didn't know that.
they do not like that movie at all. My thing is, I'm like, is it a movie about he tried to be like Jesus and then he seen it was too crazy and then he was like, bro, I don't want to do this no more? I don't know because I only seen the previews.
I could tell without spoiling the movie. It's that, but then it's also about him like finding his fate by the end of it.
So he finds his faith like in Jesus, or he just finds his faith somewhere else? Oh,
That's how you know that Caleb is a spirit-filled believer, because people say they find their faith, but in what God? What God are we talking about here? Are we talking about the one and only living God of the Old Testament and the New Testament that is Jesus, or are we talking about any other God that people look to?
okay.
Yeah, something like that. And then other happens.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to tell you because then
I feel you.
because I want you to be in the go to the movie and be like, this is happening right now, like because that's how I was.
I figured that's what the movie was about because I'm like, he was trying to be like, I seen the previews. He was trying to be like Jesus, and it's like, then you really about to be like him, and then you like, oh snap, you don't want to die. Like you feel me? So he said he had to do the other stuff, and you like, okay, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? That's an interesting take, and I'm not gonna not watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
But the Christian kid, they don't like that.
They hate the movie. They hate the movie. They're like, this is blasphemous. This is da. You know, they don't like nothing. So it's like,
Yeah, they don't like.
yeah, they don't like
I
nothing.
remember when the Golden Compass came out when I was a kid, and they hate that. And then the series came out, it was His Dark Materials, that
Mhm,
book.
mhm,
That book slash, well, now it's a show too. But like I never, and I remember as a kid, my mom, because I grew up in church too,
mhm.
and my mom used to be like, "Nah, you can't watch that, you can't buy
Facts.
that, whatever."
'Cause at the end of the day, the Christian community, they like to be like, "Don't do this, don't do this." But well, what can we do? Because we don't have movies that are coming out like that. And shout out Angel Studios because we do got them going crazy. But how much movies do we have to compete with these movies?
Yeah.
You know, so instead of saying no, 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 let's give an answer. Let's be the answer to the music industry, the movie industry, all of that.
Right.
You know, because I feel like we have stories to tell, but they're not being told.
And you talked about like the music industry, right? Like with you and being like accepted as that. Like, what have been like some of the challenges that you've overcome as being accepted as this type of artist?
Man, the challenges that had to overcome is one, you would be surprised that the Christian community, some of them, you know, they'll be like, "Oh, you using 808s, you know, you can't be doing that," and da 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 da. But then there's also a positive response of like the young, right? It's crazy, right?
Yes.
But then the youngest, they like, "Yo, you could sound like this and be on this type of beats and still talk about God."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, bro. Like, yo, you can." The devil just distorts stuff.
Yeah.
Everything that we have, music is from God. So when you speaking life through the music, it changes lives. And that's what we doing. A lot of people's lives are being changed. And they're like, yo, I'm gonna listen to this.
Mm.
I'm gonna listen to worship music, but I'm gonna also listen to this when I'm working out or I'm chilling with my homies. And it don't gotta be OD like, let's go listen to some worship music, because my homies, they might not be on that.
Totally agree with him. It's our job as Christians, as kingdom creators. That's why I moved into from the secular music scene. That's why I chose to now apply my talents to the kingdom. And I really feel the call that God is now taking me another step further and bringing me right back to the music scene, but through through the Christian channels. I actually dropped a link in the description of a playlist that is like a full compilation of good Christian music that, like Caleb said, you can listen to at the gym or you could just listen to, hanging out with your friends. Not necessarily just worship music, but obviously that's important too. But being able to, still be able to listen to something with a beat and still be able to, bob your head to something that's glorifying to Christ. So check that playlist out. I consistently update that, so you can expect those playlists to be updated. And, yeah, I just overall, I mean, Christian music, growing up, I just remember it being so, like, corny, like Christian rap or even some of the Christian rock. I always liked praise music, but it was whenever, those Christian artists would kinda try to go out of that boundary of praise music that it didn't feel natural to me, and I'm sure some of you can probably agree that growing up, that's how it was, and when I'm telling you that Christian music now is completely different than it was, I mean, it has drastically changed. Like, there are, secular people that I know from the secular music world that are now hearing this Christian music, like, people, that like, that's being put out by people like Caleb and, I could give you a million other names, but, there's so many new artists putting out good quality content that it's hard for these people not to listen to it. I put a lot of Christian music content on my TikTok, so I dropped a link for that too in the description, and then I have the Spotify playlist as well. So be expecting more of that from me as we go forward. But thanks again for tuning in, guys, and as always, Jesus loves you, and have a good weekend. All right, peace.